before we move on, we mentioned it again, but make sure we silence our cell phones. We silence our cell phones, and the chairs reconvened our meeting. We're currently on the ILM committee. We now have agenda item number 2505. And before we move to public testimony, I'm going to have the chair of the committee read the motion. So Trustee Souza is recognized.
All right, Mr. Chair, I'd like to move to approve to undertake due diligence phase 2 activities for proposed land transfer of the nation of Hawaii parcels, Waimanalo, Oahu, to the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. Approve and authorize the CEO to delegate to OHA administration the authority to, number one, undertake due diligence phase 2 activities for proposed land transfer of the nation of Hawaii parcels, Waimanalo, Oahu, to the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. Number two, execute and or procure all necessary agreements, instruments, applications, and other appropriate documents necessary for due diligence to inform the potential land transfer from the HDOA to OHA. Number three, take all other reasonable actions necessary and appropriate to implement the foregoing.
Okay, thank you, Chair Souza. I know we have members of the public that want to testify on this. I know we have discussion, but at this time, the chair is going to take a pause. And we're going to recognize the sovereign nation of Ku, who have joined us today. Oh, sure, we can have a second. Okay, second. Okay, so Trustee Holotera, second. And we're going to take a pause to have and give the opportunity for the sovereign nation of Ku that the OHA Board of Trustees, spiritual nation, recognizes, and we appreciate you coming today. And the floor is yours. Mahalo nui loa. At this time, we're going to take public testimony on this discussion on this agenda item. The chair would like to inform all those that have come today to testify that we limit testimony to 5 minutes.
Yes.
And we have extended that at various different meetings, and that gives everyone the opportunity to be able to testify, both those that are here and both that are here virtually. And so when you get to 4.5 minutes on your testimony, I'll indicate to you that you have 30 seconds left. It's time to wrap up and conclude your testimony. We'll do that very respectfully. And we ask that everyone keep their comments in a very respectful way. But at this time, we mahalo you for joining us, and you are recognized.
Question, in regards to the ones that did sign up because they want to give their time to me to just finish what I need to say. Is that possible?
That is not possible. You have 5 minutes. Everyone else that has signed up, they're welcome to speak as well.
Okay.
You have 5 minutes. Your time has begun.
Aloha ka'ua.
Aloha.
I am o wau o a o Pouhana kuku. I am the head of the spiritual nation of Ku. I have given you my resume. I have the pictures here to show all the works that I have done.
Can you please introduce yourself just for people remotely?
For what?
Just your name.
O wau o a o Pouhana kuku
Okay.
is my name.
Mahalo.
My son, who is the chanter of the spiritual nation of Ku and the kapu kaula of who we are, sovereign heirs, living heirs. We are not Americans. We are not of any government. We come out to testify on behalf of our tutukane, Kuka Ilimoku, and the bloodline of Kamamalu and Mauna Lua. I have submitted a response to the preliminary brief that we did send in. You should have it in front of you. You should have my resume in front of you. Where's the pictures? The pictures I show is because a lot of our Hawaiians who do testify and do claim they are Kanaka Hawaii have not walked the walk that I have done for all our people. I'm talking about the American Hawaiians. I'm talking about us sovereign Hawaiians, the ones living heirs. We don't talk about bones that are dead. We talk about living bones, us. We who walk, live, do, build sacred landmarks, the heiau in Makapu'u. I built that. My family built that. I sustain it as a landmark for our people to keep traditional and keep our ike mana alive. The chant, my son does not speak Olelo Hawaii. That is the gods. You have witnessed the ancient councils of who we are to do proper protocol. We are not about the times of makahiki, kamea, kamea, kamea. We are about when it is time for us to show up and defend our aina, to speak the truth, defend the truth of all our people as you want to defend the American Hawaiians, my ka'i. But do not forget, the sovereign Hawaiians still exist here. The ones that have never relinquished our rights, our position. I have here a recorded position of the royal patents of Mauna Lua and all of Victoria Kamamalu. In here, it says the preservation of title, rights, interests, warranty deed, and secured note. Our kupuna, our ancestors, Kauike o Uli, set up the whole royal patent thing for us, the heirs, because some of us was going to get lost in the sauce. Situation was going to happen where we could not understand what we needed to do to protect our lands and our titles. So we have to only claim our royal patents by bloodline. You have to have bloodline. You have the nobility of who you are. You have to have origin. To secure this, we filed it with the only legitimate body, which is the Bureau of Conveyance, which came through Ko Hawaii Pai'aina. Now for us, you do your business, we do ours. But the reality is, none of you people protect people like us. We protect ourselves. We will stand up and do our kuleana. We will stand up and do our protocol. And all the works that I have done to fight for the equality of rights, I have yet to see that happen because I understand now that OHA, and I may be misinformed, so please forgive me because I heard there's rumors out there that saying that OHA signed with DOI, the Department of Interior. That is the rumor that is out there. It is saying, yeah, I'm going to apologize because this is what is out there. It's on Facebook, it's on Twitter, and it's on everything. So for clarity, you are sharing with me that you have not signed with DOI? You have not, then mahalo, and I apologize. Secondly, misinformation regarding the transfer of lands where I live. Mauna Lua and Kamamalu lands. Living heirs live in that land. Not American heirs, living heirs. That's all my kia is, all my family. And I sealed that property. I went and sealed up that property to protect my people. That courts have to address this. How does any court not address a raw patent that cannot be superseded? It is not an American patent. It is a patent that our ali'i had the ike, mana of justice and truth, and to protect the future. They were not Americans. This patent is not an American patent, and no American patent can supersede a royal patent, which is the lands that now even that is out there talking about how you people want to transfer my lands or my ohana, my family, to give it to the snake nation of Bumpy, who have desecrated the land that I live on. People, do your due diligence. I have sent in the information.
You have 30 seconds.
Do your due diligence. Come up to the aina and I will show you the desecration of 30 years of what people cannot understand of what they should have taken care of. This, I object that if any time you are going to do a transfer with that snake, then auntie will never stand for that because the gods do not stand for that. This is our kuleana.
Thank you.
You have kuleana to protect all of us.
Thank you. Your time is up. Thank you.
That is auntie's revelation and
Mahalo.
testimony here.
Mahalo. Thank you.
So
Mahalo.
please do your due diligence.
Mahalo.
Find the royal patent.
Thank you. Do we
and
have another?
recognize and protect living heirs.
Mahalo. Thank you. Mahalo. Do we have someone else who'd like to speak? Aloha. Please state your name for everyone that's watching, and you have 5 minutes.
Craig Roden.
Mahalo.
I am a living heir. I come before you guys. I want to talk about the title, which I mentioned in the Oli. Palapala Sila Nui and Palapala Hoko. If we go back to the Palapala Hoko, the Palapala Hoko is the LCA. They will say today the Land Commission Award. It's not the Land Commission Award. It's a Land Court Award. A court commenced in that time. And our lands were all patented, surveyed, which I pretty much know that all of you guys must know. But it's a court award of our country, Ko Hawai'i Aina. This is first title. It was adjudicated in our courts by a full panel of judges. A full panel. Not when you get tagged by a ticket and you go in front of somebody and you go in front of one judge. A full panel, which is irrevocable. So that title, once that happens, because that heir came forth, or that konahiki came forth, they are basing these places off of also the pohaku pahala. That which was before an ancient landmark, before the mahele, which means to share, not divide. Yeah. We have a shared interest. We have titles, interests, and rights. Everything that you see here that has come about is a derivative that comes from the patent, which we, the heirs, if you can prove your line, konohikis, we can prove our line that we konohikis. We can prove our lines. But once that was adjudicated in our courts, then the palapala, the seal of the king, sealed it because he's the sovereign of the land. Understand this. Nothing that you have here, the TMK, as Bumpy would say, oh, that started with the kingdom. I just seen his video. The TMK is an easement to our patents. The royal patents, which is the Palapala Silanui, is the true title. And yet, the belligerent occupation being held over here, people tell me in court, because that's what we're dealing with in court. And we got Uncle Alfred Spinney and Uncle Tom, the Hawaiian Kingdom up in Big Island, and many of the kingdom people dealing with court. That's why they are represented by a India whole law firm, because of the historical injustices. Now, I'm a culture person, but we are brought here because of my tuturem. My tutukani kakani kalo kavaile ula ku kai limoku, of the authority of ku or aku ku, that which dispense this moku, this aina, this maka aina na, as far as I can see. I never stay in Lono. There wouldn't be no kuka ilimoku if there wasn't no problems here. Running and renegading our country. So I say to you, your pilikoko need to be right. Your pu'uvai need to be right. Your kekino, your body need to be right. Patents cannot be relinquished or removed. That's why even in the Supreme Court, and I believe it was Judge Moon, said, we cannot go around these patents. But everybody in the so-called de facto state of Hawaii is just, oh, no, the patents don't exist. Oh, no, you heirs, you guys don't exist. You guys dead. I am not a native Hawaiian. Native Hawaiian go back to 1778, to the doctrine of discovery, which was just repealed by the Pope. It was just repealed. I am a Kanaka Maoli, a national to my country. Ko Hawaii Pai Aina. That's who we are.
You have 30 seconds.
That's who we are. I am protected under the Constitution of the 1840, and especially the Declaration of Rights, 1839. Go look it up. We in there. We're protected. This is just for sure. But I understand, if you're going to do something right for our lands that we live on in Waimanalo, all of our lands that we live on, and I'll finish up real brief. You need to include the heirs. We need to be there. Because why? We have a financial interest to it. That is our rights to it. And we also have the titles to that. The heirs need to be involved. Not disregarded, even though the DOE or whoever, the Department of Interior is trying to do things. We need to be addressed, us, because we was here before the de facto state. And the New Lands Resolution was never repealed. So we still are in the belligerent occupation.
Mahalo.
Lavano.
Mahalo. Next testifier. Hey, the chair would like to remind everyone, we welcome you here. We really enjoy and appreciate your testimony. We know this is a very passionate issue, but please refrain from hitting the board table. Okay? Sir, you are recognized. Please state your name for the record, and we welcome you here. You have 5 minutes.
Aloha, everybody. My name is Lucky Kukanakapono Rodenhurst. And like the gods, which we represent, we go back into beyond kingdom. We go back at the origin of when we, as our bloodlines, all of us, how we started, our passion, and how we fight. We fight to the end with whatever. But we will keep our identity from way back when forward. The God is the ones that leads us and tells us what to do, how to do, when to do. He's not a Christian God. No. That he is not. And we believe wholeheartedly in these gods of our line. And many of you guys, but they look at our people and it's, our people have become foreign to them. You know, people start to talk about too many couples back then, couple this, couple that. You know, the God said, have you ever talked to us? The God said that. Have you ever talked to us, kuka, to us? Because you'll find that you just kuka. They open doors. They open things for you. They make what you think cannot be done. I know. I did things when I asked by myself. God's been helping me. And if you ever see what I did by myself at that time, and I told the gods, this is how I explained to the gods. I said, you know, I took these words out of one of these movies, and I said, I'm gonna talk to you, my gods. I says, because I gotta do this job. When I do this job, I says, I have nobody with me right now. My boys was off island, whatever. So I said, the job gotta be done. When I explained to the gods, I says, this is how I'm gonna put it. 2 is 1, 1 is none. The 1 is me. I'm nobody. I said, but me and you, when we do this together, you're gonna show me that can be done. I ask you to stop the winds. They stop the winds. I ask you to stop the rain. They stop the rain. I ask you, I need help lifting these big tents, because I do tents. I do major tents. I do big tents, all kinds. But be there by myself at that time. People could not come on board on this land because they were not Americans or they never had license to come onto this place, which is Tripla. And I do have a license, but when I signed my license, my driver's license, everybody, I always put with reservations. And then the lady asked me, what is that all? I said, that's with reservations. I have to operate. I have to work. I have to do what I gotta do, but God is with me. Well, anyway, I did all of this. The people from Tripla, and you guys can go find out if you want to find out about this thing, because I do this every year, the triplet graduation. They know me well. They know my sons well. The point is the gods. That's who I bring here. I bring here the gods to explain to all of you guys, which if you only tap into and ask and say to them, they will answer you. It's like many of you who talk to Jesus or whatever, you think you're going to talk to Jesus or whatever. No, we talk to our own. See, I look at this way. I say, my God should look like me. And they do. They look like me. That's who my gods are. And I believe wholeheartedly with that. And you will never find me sway away from that at all. I stand, I die with that. And I would defend my people. That's why I always tell my wife, I tell you're the kind person. You care for people like that. Yeah. You know me. I'm not like that. My thing is that God, you do.
30 seconds.
You do first. And they do for you. But the point about this all is that the God says, ask them, talk to them. Never mind about all these couple them. No. Live today. Put yourself on the map. Put your identification on the map. We own it. We're not about programs and we're not about benefits. We're about our country. Our country, everybody.
Mahalo.
That's all it's about. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Thank you so much. Aloha. Welcome to OHA, and please state your name for the record. And you have 5
Aloha.
minutes.
My name is Hiva Kaheaku, and I am the daughter-in-law of A'opoakuku. I wanted to state regarding specifically this matter that we're addressing, that before you guys can move forward with deciding on how you guys are going to address this specific situation, as far as addressing the people who live up there in Waimanalo. And we hear that there is leases and evictions and so those sort of things going on. So that's why you guys are stepping up. But in order for you to step up and truly represent us as Kanakas, there is also the part where you need to address our royal patented interests, not just so-called ceded lands that was illegal from its inception, which comes through the territory. And then they have the state of Hawaii acquiring these so-called ceded lands, which again, we say is illegal because we have patented rights and interests that secured these lands. Hui Eoku comes forward in a special appearance without de facto jurisdiction to address the matter of your item, IML 25-05, as it will cause injurious dispossession and further illegitimate displacement of royal patented Kuleana owners. The living heirs are represented by A'opakuku Craig Rodenhurst. On the behalf of those nationals who have not been informed, the living heirs of who have been simply left out with your guys' agreement with nation state, according to the royal patented intermediaries who need to be addressed. We will protect and defend royal patented interests against displacement until such a time they are completely and well informed that these patented interests, rights, and titles are being monetized without the knowledge or illegally required express consent of us Kanakas. It is a fact that DLNR, de facto state, de facto unconstitutional military administrative regimen, the territory of Hawaii, the United States Foreign Pacific Trust Administration, Republic of Hawaii Group, Provisional Government Group, and nor the Committee of Safety, coup d'etat, have no record of conveyance from any royal patented court adjudicated crown and or Kuleana owner conveying to those predecessors entities all of their royal patented rights, titles, and interests. It is a fact that a person cannot convey what they have not received. It's also a fact that through occupation, you cannot just take on other people's private lands and private properties. So again, the point that we are making is that in order for you, this board, to talk about receiving a sale of property, all heirs and all Kanakas should be included in this. And we are coming forward as living heirs who live on this property, saying that we want to be at the table when these things are being addressed. And if you're going to address a sale, then why not also address our royal patented interests? Mahalo.
Mahalo, thank you. Before,
Then I'll put you out.
Oh, kuana na kua hutea kua wa kumo kua hutea na we kumohana ho mo wa hutea na wa ka na wa hutea na ku ala wa ana ko hutea kuana na
so trustees, just so that, we're clear, this is just to move to phase 2 of our due diligence on this particular issue, right? Obviously, it's a very, divisive, very sensitive issue. Spoke to Lori, there's about 4 phases in the overall due diligence phase. And the next phase, should the board approve this, moving on to the next phase, would absolutely require community and stakeholder engagement. And so, extensive opportunities to hear from all parties involved. I'd hope to say that. Oh, you're still here. Okay. Just wanted to make sure that was clear that what the board is proposing today is to just move to step 2 of what is a 4-step process, of which would include and require extensive community and stakeholder engagement. So the opportunity for our land division to work together with all parties, to include yourself and the family and the other parties, would absolutely happen. So this is by no means the board taking any action on this, and I'll recognize Trustee Souza.
And Mr. Chair, I'll also like to put on the record that this is not a sale of any type of land. There's no real estate transaction or anything involved. It is a land transfer. And as we move forward in the due diligence phase, we will see what that looks like. And the verbiage will be very, very clear as soon as we move through phase 1, 2, 3, and 4 as well. And there has no commitments have been made at this time.
Yeah, so we just wanted to make sure you knew that, and we really appreciate you coming today, and mahalo for joining us. Sure, and you'll get the opportunity in community and stakeholder engagement to express that. And that's our job as OHA to look at all interests and positions and to take those into consideration. So, yeah, thank you for coming, sharing that with us. We really appreciate it. Is there anyone else? I'm sorry, Trustee Akaka.
Hello, I have a question. In even how this conversation started with the state in looking at what are land transfers. I wanted to ask administration, were we made aware of, or what was shared today? Is this something that was a part of the conversation in the very initial stages?
I want to table any questions until we get through the public testimony. And we can come back to that and save that when we do trustee discussion. So at this time, is there anyone else in the public that is here that would like to testify on this agenda item? Sure, absolutely. Yeah, you came and joined us. Make sure her mic is on. Yeah, and please state your name for the record, and thank you for joining us, and you have 5 minutes.
Aloha, my name is Anna Marie Napua Okalani Kahunahana Castro Howell, better known as Napua Kahunahana. I want to address this, but I will be speaking later on another subject matter. In regards to this subject matter regarding land, I just want to say that because we are an occupied country, and there are certain laws that is in compliance, that must be in compliance relating to land, private property. And these laws is the field manual, the rules of land warfare. And in the rules of land warfare, it speaks about confiscations of private properties. So the occupying country or the occupier cannot confiscate private properties. So with what Aopohaku was saying and her family, that is their private property by their inherent rights. And by committing that confiscation of their rights of that private property that that is theirs by right is a violation of international law of war. So I wanted to inform you that you are violating, by doing so, you will be violating international law of war, which becomes a war crime. And that is punishable personally for each and every one of you. So to make right, the sovereignty of this land is perpetuated in righteousness. So Kamehameha III did the mahele. It's written, it's law, and it must remain law, and the occupying power must respect that law in accordance with the field manual in the rules of international rules of land warfare. So when we look at that, you must respect the kingdom laws. That's the law of the land. And with that, when you take your oath to the United States Constitution in Article 6, Clause 2, the Supremacies Clause, the law of the land is a treaty. And in the treaty with Kamehameha III, he says his heirs and successors, and the trust came from the mahele, which he started, and it became law. So I just wanted to make mention of these things that was not mentioned with the Pouhana there. That this entity and body should take in consideration of the laws that you are bound to and must hold up to for the betterment, because that's what this body is for, the betterment of our people, our ohana. And so I just wanted to bring that to the board so you have a clear understanding what's coming in the future that I can see. Thank you.
Mahalo. Thank you for joining us. Anyone else before we go to our online testifiers? We have about 6. Anyone else here would like to testify on this item? We're not at public concerns yet. We're still talking about this. Okay, seeing none, we're gonna go online and I'm gonna go by the order that was given to me. So for those of you online, we'll start with Tennille, and then we'll go to Brandon, Maka, Keone. Okay, I'm sorry, Keone DeFranco, Makaha'a Wolfgram, Tara Rojas, and Sambo Souza. So at this time, the chair recognizes Tennille.
Aloha, thank you for having me. My name is Tennille Kanahele. I'm the daughter of Bumpy Kanahele, and I'm in full support of this due diligence process. And I trust that truth and righteousness will prevail and in the spirit of aloha. So thank you.
Okay, mahalo. Moving on to Brandon.
Aloha, Chair, Trustees. I'm also in full support of the due diligence process, and I just like to say that our land base has been a shelter for a lot of people, and I think that's one thing that we gotta realize is that we have different ohanas here that we have helped protect for over 30 years, and we continue to do that unbeknownst to most people, and again, the due diligence process is about, looking into transferring the land base of Pouhana, Waimanalo from Department of Ag to OHA, because we are in a transition to eventually become a sovereign nation. It says that in our lease. Our lands are held in trust until one day a sovereign nation of Hawaii is created. Our lands will be transferred over to that nation. We have never lost the vision of the purpose of that lease that was signed in 2001. We're all sovereign. We all have rights to our aina. But I also know that we have to deal with the state of Hawaii right now in all things. We're dealing with Department of Ag, we're dealing with plenty of people, but these guys don't have a kuleana to us. OHA does. We need to join forces as we walk through these steps together, because OHA was created in the intent of helping to create a sovereign nation for our people as well. And so our alignment is there. Our alignment is not with the Department of Agriculture. So the longer we stay with the Department of Agriculture, the longer we have these barriers. What we do on our aina is so important to our people. We have aina days where people can come and help restore an ancient taro patch. Over 11 terraces we've restored, with hundreds more to go. We have makekes there. We have educational talks. We host charter schools. A lot of people are understanding their rights for the first time on our aina. This is the kuleana of OHA, to help to do these things. And so I'm in full support of the second phase of due diligence process. I'm in support of the public coming and sharing their mana'o. But ultimately, trustees, you guys have to do what is right, in your hearts. And I trust that you will. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Brandon. Chair recognizes now Keone DeFranco, I'm sorry. Hi, Keone.
Mahalo, Chair, mahalo, trustees, and mahalo all of our ohanas that have tuned in and participated today. Currently serve as a Minister of Interior at Nation of Hawaii. We deeply respect the autonomy of the ohanas up at the Pu'uhonua to speak their truth and exercise their sovereignty. respectfully, my capacity, I support Uncle Bumpy, I support Brandon, and I support this process to move into phase 2 due diligence. I believe that the Nation of Hawaii lease is safest transferring from Department of Agriculture to OHA at this time. It will allow us to continue to pursue our mission of self-determination over our national homelands, a shared vision that I think many of us have, including OHA. We have dozens of Ohana up at the Pouhana who feel the same way at the Nation of Hawaii. And so we're here speaking on their behalf. The Pouhana was a land base that was won through occupation and struggle after material conditions had eroded so much that Uncle Bumpy stepped into action to provide shelter for our unhoused community of Waimanalo. The transfer of this lease in no way relinquishes that vision of self-determination and sovereignty over our lands. And we look forward to further collaboration with OHA on what a thriving Pu'uhonua housing model can look like. I believe that there's a vision here of learning from what's been created at Nation of Hawaii that can help influence how housing policies and new land bases that come under OHA administration can operate. How sovereign Kanaka communities can build, shared economic self-determination, shared economic sovereignty, how agriculture can be grown in a cooperative and collaborative way, and really provide, secure material conditions moving forward for our lahui. And that's a partnership that we're deeply committed to and deeply excited about next steps with. So mahalo, look forward to next steps here in due diligence.
Mahalo, Keone. Okay, Chair now recognizes Makaha'a Wolfgram. Mahalo for joining us.
Aloha, my name is Makaha'a Wolfgram. I currently reside on the Big Island of Hawaii. I happen to be a product of the Nation of Hawaii. I resided on that property from 2006 to 2009, started my family there, my immediate family. I am in favor of this process that OHA and the Department of Ag is trying to do. I believe that this is in line with your statements of the purpose of OHA. I'm just here to show you that I am a product that is outside of the property with the due process of the benefits of Hawaiian culture and such. I believe that if you guys continue to do this, and mahalo to Auntie Awo and them for calling in the metaphysical part of our aspects. It's necessary for us as Kanaka and Hawaiians. Whether you olelo Hawaii or not, the Nation of Hawaii has established itself as a piko to understanding and learning about your rights, as OHA also tries to teach people about their rights and also preserve our culture, that we are people who have value. We do contribute to the world, and we are necessary for the world, not just the state of Hawaii, but for each other. And I like to give the rest of my time to my wife, who happens to be present with me. She can give her testimony too. Mahalo.
Is that okay? Oh, aloha. I'm Nani Wolfgram. I was born and raised in Waimanalo, Oahu, Hawaii. I currently reside on Hawaii Island in Kealakahe area in the new La'iopua division under Hawaiian Homestead. So I resided at Pouhana, Waimanalo under the Nation of Hawaii since it was first established in 1994. People have come and gone throughout their time. And like Brandon said, that has been a place where people have had a sense of place, a place of community, and enjoyed the culture and heritage that of Kanaka. There has been restoration that has been done there with the natural waterways, and like my husband, I am also a product of that. And so we have been able to establish our family where we are now because of that place and the opportunities that it gave us. And, you know, I know that it's because of the people that have been there since the very beginning that has allowed it to be what it is now. It's a well-respected area in Waimanalo and by the Waimanalo people. And so I am, as much as I would like total independence and for the state of Hawaii to be not under the US, we are functioning at this time under, you know, the land of national resources, and the transition to be under OHA is what I'm in support of, you know, because this is just what we are under at this time, even though I would like total independence. But I think that it is the lesser of evil if that transition is able to be established. And so that is my testimony, and mahalo for you guys' time.
Okay, mahalo. Is Tara Rojas on with us?
Okay. So aloha.
Hi, Tara. Aloha.
Hey. So as far as, you know, this specific item and Waimanalo, in addition to, you know, the other land transfers, I just want to say a few things, just my personal opinion, that it is true, you know, what's happening now, that we are in the de facto state, not de jure. Yes, royal patents are in perpetuity, and that needs to be respected. And under and in this system, which started 132 years ago with the illegal overthrow and the illegal occupying, you know, state and all these agencies, including this one that was created, it's all operating under that system, which, first of all, just by what was mentioned in the previous conversation of Resolution 25-37, right? The same concerns you have there apply here, where to start off with, Inoa is so important. And so if Inoa, if you're the Office of, you know, Native Hawaiian Affairs, you're not Native Hawaiian, you're not Kanaka Maoli. So if you're going to talk about bringing back Olelo, it cannot just be on paper and it just cannot be for show, you know, just, it has to really have the kauna, right? The meaning, the deep meaning. So if we're celebrating, right, Olelo, they even got that right, Olelo Hawaii month, not Hawaiian language month. So again, these little details are important because they affect the outcome. And like the previous justifier said, you know, which is like the lesser of like the two evils, working where we're at now. And then I do hear both sides of this situation, and everybody's trying to come at it a different angle, a different perspective, and which is really important. So I want to say this. Okay, I have 3 more minutes. Okay, so basically the true title and true jurisdiction, you know, should be for you all, Kanaka Maoli, you know, in addition and knowing that you all hold different experiences in Ike. However, if you do and you're able to show your genealogy, you know, and you're the heirs to that land, no fake state system should remove that right. Now, I'm looking at you all as you're listening to testifiers, including myself, and, you know, body language and just even eye contact and just that basic respect for all testifiers, you know, should be applied equally and evenly. So I just want to say that as well, because this issue, whether it's a transfer and the history of OHA, like I testified previously, the last meeting, it's been flawed. And it all depends of the people who sit in those seats around that table in that office building, representing, you know, the fake state, you know, but you're representing your own people, your Kanaka Maoli. And so you have to be, if you're in that seat, and I heard you say at the beginning about visiting, you know, the tribes and then being able to implement here, right? From Moka to Makai, implementation, ahupua'a mindset and practice, all the way to the kai, to the fish ponds. Yes, you have to, you have to revive that. However, you have to do it the full-on mindset from mindset to practice. And you're kind of gonna be like in between, even though you are in between. And why am I saying this? And just to kind of wrap it up in my last minute and a half, is because what's going on, like OHA, you're to represent Kanaka Maoli. First of all, they changed the Inoa. Two, all these other agencies that are working against what you guys are working for, it's kind of like it's canceling out. So I just came from the HCDA meeting. It's gonna push out Kama'aina, Kanaka Maoli, because that low cost 99-year leasehold program administrative rules that they was a public hearing, only I testified, they literally said, it came out of 2023, Act 97, the legislature, and they literally did not define what low cost is for a reason, and low cost doesn't mean low income. And they literally said in the meeting yesterday that it's for those, they're only gonna put aside a few for low cost, which is like 400 to 600,000, and they're literally actually targeting middle class. So we know that's out of reach for majority of who you're representing. So we have to look at this and really think about from which mindset you're sitting at that table. You have to really be pono and your actions and listen, especially to those who still hold the spiritual connection, not the
Well, thank you. Thank you, Tara. Okay, we're going to recognize Sambo next. And I just want to remind everyone, please keep your testimony to the agenda item, which is what we're talking about in Waimanalo. And at this time, Sambo, if you are on, Souza, you're recognized. Hey, Sambo, you might have to unmute your, okay.
All right. Yes, sir. Okay, I got one question. I got one question for Kai Kanahele. You can answer the question. Kai Kanahele. I'd like to know, who is your guys' authority first? Under what authority you guys operating right now? You guys operate under the state of Hawaii, or you guys operate under the kingdom? Ko Hawaii Pai'aina. Can you answer that question? No. Well, I just like let you guys know that you guys got to put the royal patent holders first before any due diligence go on. Put all people first, on the Aina first. Then you guys can make decisions on where you guys going. Because as far as I'm concerned, and to all of them, they're all heirs to the land too. So they should be able to have the same amount say as any nation of any place. Because this land was never for sale. This land was never to make profit on. This land was to be planted and grow and share, not to sell. It's our home. And as long as you guys selling land with the state of Hawaii, with DHHL, you guys committing war crimes on our people. You guys sheriffs, you guys false sheriffs, come after me for royal patent. I'm a royal patent heir of Paki land. And we go back to La'amaikahiki. La'amaikahiki is in the beginning. We, the owners, distributing the land so everybody can live in our style systems. If you guys understand who is David Kui La'amea, that's my great-grandfather. He made a case law on Konohiki rights back in the 1800s to the 1900s, back in Ko'olaupoku. So as far as I'm concerned, put all people first, then you guys can do your due diligence. But I just wanted to tell you guys, if nobody told you they love you today, I love you guys. Aloha.
Aloha, Sambo. We really appreciate your testimony. We think we have 3 more online, Miley and an iPhone user. And then looks like Bumpy Kanehele has joined us as well. So Miley, if you're on, you are recognized. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you. Oh, it's good afternoon now. My name is Danielle Kowaluki. Maile is part of my Hawaiian name. I just want to say on behalf of my family who also live up in Pouhana or Waimanalo, that we are in full support of the move to phase 2. It's just like was mentioned earlier, the agenda, the focus of this is to move forward with the next due diligence process. And our family has been there. My family has been there for before I was born, and they've taken care of the land. They've really made, like brother that shared earlier who lived there. It's people come in as people and leave as family, right? And so we just want to keep that aloha and that ohana going up at Pouhana o Waimanalo. And yeah, and just to be short and simple, straight to the point, we're in full support of that, and we look forward to this moving to phase 2.
Okay, mahalo, Miley. There's an iPhone individual on. It says iPhone 3. If that individual can unmute themselves and testify or state your name and for the record, and you're willing to provide your testimony. If not, we're going to move on to Bumpy Kanehele. Okay, hearing none. We recognize now Bumpy Kanehele for joining us. Aloha, Bumpy. Yep, you just got to unmute, Bumpy. You're muted right now.
Okay, how about this?
You're good to go.
We good?
We can hear you. Hearing none.
Aloha, trustees. Good morning.
Morning.
I'm in total support of the transfer of the property here at Pouhana, Waimanalo to the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. In the last 30 years, we've experienced a lot of stuff, and I'm so thankful for the Ohanas that came out to support, the transfer as well. As you folks know, our situation as Hawaiians with our land is very critical. And so we're starting to experience that right here in our own 45 acres of land here. And so it's an experience and complex experience. And I can see where the state and federal government gets all twisted up in their politics when it comes to Hawaiians and land. And that's through our little pilot country over here in Waimanalo, learning that stuff. You cannot bullshit your way around this. You got to go straight in, and although a lot of us are impatient, of wanting to like dig in and have their own property and all of that, I think this is why I totally support what OHA doing and the change in that office with the administration that they have today. I think that OHA can do what they're supposed to do a long time ago. And so, again, I want to thank you folks for the consideration of this transfer of Pouhana, Waimanalo, the nation of Hawaii, over to you folks. And so we can take it from there. And I want to also stress the importance of communal land tenure. Maybe the Office of Hawaiian Affairs can restore that land system that once had prevailed over Hawaii. And that's an important thing for all of us to understand. I believe too that, the OHA system was our governance, from the mountain to the ocean. And so we've learned a lot here. We've had a lot of, ups and downs and learning curves while doing this for the last 30 years. But I'm finally glad to align with the office and the plans that they've put together for the next 15 years. So thank you, and I appreciate it, giving me this time to talk. Aloha.
Aloha. Mahalo, Bumpy. Lehua, do we have anyone else online that would like to provide testimony? Not at this time?
No one is signed up for this item.
Okay, so now we'll do trustee discussion on the proposed action item. Trustees. Oh, sorry, Trustee Ahuna.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, I just want to thank all for this wonderful process that we have, because we we're in a process, and I know we're in a process of due diligence. So I just want to make sure that people understand that we cannot give away land, that we don't have land or anything like that. But we have a situation where they want to offer us land to steward. So what I'm saying is, I think, hearing both sides, I'm going to be voting yes to continue this conversation. And I'm just happy that we have this due diligence process that we can talk to both sides. And I think it's important that, like, we're not giving away land or anything like that, but we are also here to honor all the things that like everyone said today. So I just want to thank OHA for that process. So I'll be voting yes to continue it. Thank you.
Mahalo, Trustee Ahuna. Fellow trustees, Trustee Akaka?
Mahalo. Going back to my initial question on administration's first set of conversations with the state, with the Department of Agriculture, and with the DLNR, was it shared? Any documents, any challenges, what has been working? Any indication of what has come to light now? Was that shared with administration, and what liabilities come with the land transfer?
So we were made aware that the current lease agreement is with Aloha First, which is the nonprofit entity that Nation of Hawaii is formed under. And I mean, there have been longstanding, concerns with the permanence of the residents of Nation of Hawaii. The structures that have been created for basic shelter, safety of the ohanas that are there. The discussion around from Act 90 and the transfer of lands from DLNR to DOA has created an even heightened issue of eviction, because DOA does not have the mandate to basically, I guess, preserve and protect Native Hawaiian rights as OHA does. Their mandate is enforcement of agriculture lands and using it for agricultural purposes. And those are how their leases are structured. So all of that was made known to us. I think many around the table in the room know that these ohana live on the property along with the Nation of Hawaii. And that is the work of the trustees, is to take into account all of the Hawaiian voices that are going to be impacted by these land transfers. And even Kahana, right? We're going to have 26 lineal descendants, 27 lineal descendants, and that's the work before us, is to try to find the common ground. So I think there's going to be complexities with all of the transfers, and the due diligence process is to suss that out and to get the answers that the trustees need to have so that they can have the informed discussion and make a decision based off of what our state mandates require us to do.
I would be interested in workshops with our board so that we know how the progression is going with the due diligence, and for that to include and be present at our board table or workshops, members of DLNR, Department of Agriculture, and also the Office of the Governor and the Land Transfer Working Group.
So just as mahalo for that, I'm writing down those notes. I just want to clarify that there's no longer a land transfer group. That work has now been taken up by the ILM
When
committee.
did that dissolve?
When the new leadership came on board.
I was told that Keone and John are now members of the Land Transfer Working Group. So did that?
Mr. Chair, if I may. The new group is now called the Investment and Land Management Committee, which the entire board voted upon and was briefed upon. And there's bylaws as well that reflect that.
Trustees, we can take that aside. Let's focus on this agenda item. I think Trustee Akaka raised some good points for the CEO, and we can work on that.
Yeah, because for me, in hearing the testimony and learning more as we go along, I want to be fully aware of what kuleana we would be, taking on and stewarding
Sure.
here, and what makes sense for us and us being the stewards and how this affects our people. And I would also be interested as we go throughout the islands with the island community meetings to hear their mana'o.
Mahalo. Trustee Souza?
Yeah, Mr. Chair. I also made it clear in our meeting, our investment and land management meeting, the first meeting when we talked about this, that we will be getting regular updates from administration and be involved in the process as they move along. So again, Trustee Akaka, to your point, administration, we just want to make sure we get regular updates. Yeah, thank you.
And, to that point, nothing prevents trustees working together with RCO and the different PAIA to, outside of the board meeting, to go and sit down with those PAIA and work with them on those specific questions. So thank you for mentioning that. Trustee, discussion on this item? Trustee Ahuna?
Yeah. Just to bring it, because we're talking about title and all that stuff, we really got to understand that in the state of Hawaii, we pay title insurance. And we got to understand why we pay title insurance. And this is what the people is talking about. Like, we cannot act like we everything is legal, like we have to understand what the laws is and how we're going to move forward. So this due diligence is very important to talk about all those kind of things. And all I'm saying is we hear both sides, but we gotta know how to move forward. We get this offer. Yeah.
Thanks, Trustee Ahuna. Hey, trustees, we have one individual that came to provide testimony. So if it's okay with you, I'll recognize her. Is Shar here? Okay.
Between her reaching the table,
Sure.
I also wanted to go off of what Trustee Ahuna is saying. Another thought too is to have our board counsel and corp counsel opine throughout this process too, in terms of what laws are involved here, and
Great.
to make sure that we are in line with them. Mahalo.
No, yeah, no. Thank you, Trustee Akaka. Aloha, Shar. Mahalo for joining us. Please introduce yourself, and you have 5 minutes for your testimony.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to share. Now, I'm just going to give my opinion regarding the nation of Hawaii. These people have been on the land as lineal descendants, as you know, almost 50 years. I think that you guys should help them to be able to stay on the land. Our family lost land through 10 years of adverse possession by my third great grandma. Second great grandma. Second great grandpa, her son. My third great grandmother lost her land, even though she was on the land, and it was LCA deeded to our family. And at that time, they didn't get any help to keep their land. So 3 generations now in a row, our family has lost land. And then it comes down to us. And the reason why I bring that up is if we can lose our land that is titles under allodium with no annexation, a public resolution does not take away our citizenship. What entity is here to help us stay on our land that is legitly given to us by the Great Mahele? You guys help the Native Hawaiians and the Hawaiians, but where does the Kanaka Maoli stand? Where does our protection stand? And I don't like to bring it up to have to bring it into the table to point any fingers at anyone, because this is not towards anyone. This is towards to make things right. Too many generations our people fight for a place to call home. Every other nation has a place that they came from, that they call home. We as Kanaka Maoli are in our home, but yet fight for that voice. And I didn't want to stick to that subject, but I'm going to come back at the next month to be able to voice a few more concerns and share a few more things of what we've been doing as a lineal descendant. I am a lineal descendant of Kaui Kioli and Nahi Ana Ana. I am first cousins to Queen Emma, Queen Kalama, King Lunalilo, Kamehameha the Fourth, and the Fifth. And yet, today, our people fight for land, to fight for the right to have a place to call home. And many of us filed, certified our genealogy, filed in public notice of the Borough of Conveyance. Sorry, I get emotional. Because this is home for every one of us. It's not to target any of you, but to ask for that help that our people are chanting outside. They're about to lose their homes. We have too many homeless, and yet you ask what's their nationality? They're Kanaka Maoli. We serve on the Privy Council, House of Nobles, as a team with our recognized Minister of Interior. Recognized by Governor Green. We filed with Annie Lopez, Governor Green, yes, I'm just going to pull something up really quickly. Certificate of authenticity, that there should be perpetual peace and amenity between the heirs, his king and his successors in Article 1. We stand here as a kingdom government. We're still here. Everything is filed at the Borough of Conveyance. Add to it.
Mahalo, thank you for coming. Trustees, any more discussion? Not hearing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Ahuna,
Aye.
Trustee Akaka,
Aye.
Trustee Akina.
Aye.
Trustee Alapa.
Aye.
Trustee Galuteria.
Aye.
Trustee Lindsay. Trustee Souza. Trustee Waihe'e. And Chair Kahele.
Aye.
We have 9 yes votes.
Okay, mahalo trustees. That completes the ILM agenda. Is that correct? Okay, I'm gonna jump forward to community concerns because we have at least one member of the community that's been waiting here. Two, quite some time. So, sir, you are welcome to OHA, and you've got 5 minutes. You're recognized. Yeah, 2 people. Okay. Hello, sir. Make sure your mic is on. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Rory Nakamura. I have here documents that we are not the state of Hawaii. Annexation didn't happen. You folks can have a copy of this. This is by the United Nations. Alfred M. Desires, dated February 25th, 2018. And it was sent to the member of the Judiciary Committee. And I have another statement here. Some of you folks might know Williamson Chang, University of Hawaii law professor. And he stated it's a fraudulent annexation by William McKinley. Now, I don't know if you folks seen this in a newspaper. Tuesday, 11/12/24. This was printed in the Star Advertiser. It stated right here, Congress did not ratify the treaty, and Congress had blocked out the Constitution. That's why they didn't ratify the annexation. Now, what I have here is a breach of trust. It's concerned the homesteaders and homelanders. They pay property tax that they don't own, nothing. The state of Hawaii do not own nothing. The city and county doesn't own nothing. Even the federal, they don't own anything. But yet they gotta pay property tax. The military doesn't pay any property tax. So why do we? We shouldn't pay any property tax, sewer fee, and all of that stuff. You see, I come before you folks, the land transfer and all of that. It's not so, because we are not the state of Hawaii. If you folks go back in time, the provisional government, 1900, had cheated everybody. How come they end up with large properties on Maui, over here, Big Island? You know, the land transfer not supposed to be on the deeds. Kamehameha III had documented as allodial title. Allodial title means property forever and ever. So, I mean, you folks get one big headache coming to you folks. This statement should go around the world. Let everybody know what happened. The overthrow was illegal, then became the territory of the United States. How come we became the territory when there was no annexation? Completely no annexation. So, you know, you folks got a big problem. So I thank you folks very much for your time, and I hope to see you guys again.
Thank you, Ms. Nakamura. Aloha. Napua? Else? Okay. Aloha, Napua.
Aloha. I have to identify myself again.
Sure, for the record, yeah, since we're talking community concerns now.
For the record, my name is Anna Marie Napua Kalani Kahunahana Castro Howell, better known as Napua Kahunahana. I wanted to address the identity. As you heard just before me, all the hurts and pains, all the suffering of our people. 7 generations, started from my great-grandmother to now I'm a great-grandmother. And still, we still have pain and sufferings, worse health conditions, homelessness, all of these unnecessary things. And it begins with our identity. Who are we? I'm a Kanaka Maole. Yeah. But what does it say on this? A birth certificate made by the state of Hawaii. The fabrication of fraudulent biased materials that prejudice me. It says that I'm a US citizen. Yeah, from the time I'm born, from the time we're all born, it puts us in a place. It violates international law of war when they did the territory of Hawaii. In Section 4, all people of Hawaii becomes US citizens. That's a violation of international law of war. It's a war crime because it says in the law of war that the occupying country cannot force the inhabitants who we are to force us to take allegiance to their country. That is a war crime. So when we look at this biased material, and in 1990s, I went to get my ID card and to change and say, my country, Hawaiian Kingdom, Kingdom of Hawaii, they said, no, you're a US citizen. I can't even exercise, excuse me, I don't like to use the term exercise. I can't even implement my rights, my birthrights, my inherent rights, like all our Kanakas. How do we do this? Many of our groups have their own identification cards, but where does it stand in court? You know, Alfred Isaias, he's a commissioner of human rights, international commissioner, and he writes to the judicial. And what happens? She lost her home. How is that? And she says, she proves her lineage, her heirship. Where's the justice? Our people, I recently lost a friend of mine, a good friend, full-blooded Kanaka Maoli. And how many do we have left? Yeah, less than 4,000. We're coming to extinction already. And those of us who is 50% or more, what? We're what? We're dying breed of our race. And yet we struggle living off of biased materials that prejudice us from our inherent rights, taking our inherent rights, changing us as a corporate entity, as chattel, to control the trust of our lands and our assets. But what do? So I come here before you, OHA, to help, to help in developing an identity for our people. I've been going to the legislature from 2018 to 2020, then they had the pandemic, about our identity and the laws of war that's violated, war crimes, and our rights, our human rights, our civil rights, our liberty. There is none for the Kanaka. We have to fight, and we're dying fighting. So I look to you folks to help us. And I would love to participate in getting this, making it pono, getting our rights. We have Queen's Hospital, and yet what the United States did with Micronesia, they can come here, get free medical. And where is us?
You have 30 seconds.
We have none. So I implore you to please, let us work with you. Let me work with you and a group of people that we can get together to make things pono, so we can have our rights implemented. And you folks can stand pono with us as true Kanaka in our country, the Hawaiian Kingdom. Because I was born in the Hawaiian Kingdom that is in a state of an occupation named the Territory of Hawaii.
Mahalo.
Mahalo.
Thank you. Trustees, I think we have one more testifier, John. And then we have, I believe, Jermaine Myers online. So, hey, Jermaine, we're going to do John.
Chairs, you moved it up, or is community concerns at the end for those on virtual?
No, we're doing community concerns now, and we'll recognize you when John is completed. So stand by.
Okay, mahalo.
Hello, Jermaine. Aloha, John.
Aloha, good morning.
Welcome.
My name is John Keulaji, born and raised on the island of Molokai, now residing in Kaneohe. Moved here because of the shortage of jobs there, our state. So, my question is, what is the classification to OHA of what is Hawaiian and Native Hawaiian? Does the classification of Kanaka Maoli come under OHA and DHHL? If not, why not? Because he cannot get a Alorio title holders. So I believe OHA was formed with the Bureau of Convenience, which was actually the Hawaiian Registry, where people were supposed to go for file the claim, which OHA was made will help the people file the claim because it's a permanent land issue. Why are we going for leases for? We own the land. Shift the money to the Alorio title holder so you can hold it be perpetual because it's there. You just have to make it clean. And that's what the people are saying. The United States never have any annexation. The joint resolution is not on annexation. One state cannot adopt or make a nation, they cannot adopt a nation. They don't have the jurisdiction or authority. What TMK is a tax map key, also on temporary management contract. And that is what, you know, our people are seeing. Shift the money to the allodial title holders so that they can stay under our people. That's their land. It doesn't matter. Allodial means to hold in perpetual. There's nothing higher. On TMK is not higher than on allodial. The allodial is higher. So our people, I believe, are reaching out because I cannot farm. I can't even sustain my family. I have to come here and no more jobs, then I'm out. Why I gotta come under the state for? You know, if you give me, I can start my own farm. So we try and grab land to do stewardship. And you get people already there on the land. They need the money so they can steward their land. That's what OHA is here for. Office of Hawaiian Affairs, right? But I don't consider myself as a Hawaiian or a native Hawaiian. Because I can trace my lineage back to 1700s. We kanaka mo'ole. There's people that is in my kingdom, or Keoli said, that is not of my blood. They shall be called native Hawaiians and Hawaiians. They was the ones. The foreigners is the one on DHHL was supposed to be leasing the land, not kanaka mo'ole. We get kuleana land. That's ours. So I believe DHHL was made for the foreigner, not for the Kanaka. Our rightful place is on the land. Stewarding and raising food so we can feed our family. Right now, that barge normally come in. You only get 4 weeks for survive. And on Molokai, I've tried, we tried to revive the fish ponds. Okay. As soon as we get together as Ohana, because that's our birthright, you get the Army Corps of Engineers coming. Tell us we gotta stop because we want permit. Who are these people who come 3,000 miles across the ocean and tell me what I can do and what I cannot do on my own land? They're not here for feed our families. When they're gone and they leave, a lot of changes. We got to deal with the changes they mean. We stuck with that. And it's hard to change things that people already changed. Where we had, our kingdom was competent. We had the first colored newspaper in the whole world. We had the first lighted palace in the whole world. Nobody else said that. And they tell us we incompetent? No, they're incompetent. Why? Because they never liked the tariffs on the sugar that our king was making. Because why? It would have fueled our kingdom and we would have got above them and we would have probably overseen them. And we wouldn't be in this predicament today. So I asked OHA, they really can look at it and shifted attention to the allodial title holders. Instead of being leasees, be permanent land owners. Because it's there. This is our lineage. All we gotta do is reach out and grab them. I mean, I don't know what else to say, but sustainability is number one for Hawaii. We live in the middle of the ocean. Nobody else will feed us without their barge. We have nothing. And right now, we're in one predicament. We can't even sustain ourselves. The building prime farmland is being turned into homes. So eat the home when you're starving. I mean, how are you gonna answer your children when they tell you they're starving? There is no answer.
30 seconds.
So, you know, I agree. And when transfer of land is the lease, the state and federal get leases. It's not one allodial transfer. That's why you get transferred is the leasehold. Because they cannot own the land on the allodial. So I leave that with you. And I apologize if anything. All this was done before we even this issue and everything. But aloha you guys. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mahalo nui loa. Okay, Jermaine. You are now recognized, Jermaine. Aloha. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Chair. Aloha, my name is Jermaine Myers. I'm an OHA beneficiary for Beneficiary Advocacy and Empowerment. I'm also a Nanakuli Hawaiian Homestead lessee. Chair, can you hear me?
Yes, we got you loud and clear,
Okay.
Jermaine.
Awesome, thank you. Chair, again, I humbly asked to be agendized to give a 15-minute presentation at an upcoming BLT meeting. You informed me when I made my last request, someone from the BAE committee would get back to me. I'm sorry, but I'm still waiting for someone to email or call me. Also, Chair, I'm respectfully requesting to give a 15-minute presentation about the things that are happening in my community. I am not asking for anyone else to give a presentation, so I just wanted to make sure to clarify that. Next, I humbly ask for the BOT and administration for information on the Oahu Island Mea'ai and Mana'o meeting. When and what time is the meeting and where? I do recall that that initiative started end of last year, and I'm just wanting to get some kind of update when it's going to be for Oahu Island so that I can potentially let you know what dates don't have it on, because we have our Nanakuli neighborhood board meetings third Tuesday. First Tuesday is Waianae, and most of the time when we have town halls, many of us want to come to participate and to hear the presentations that are being offered by the host. Next, I thank you for this opportunity to clarify my appreciation of Sunshine Law and its purposes. We, the Lahui, support Sunshine Law to protect beneficiary rights and taxpayer rights to engage with OHA and its discussions, deliberations, and decisions that affect the trust and, most importantly, affect the beneficiaries, but also to protect a minority of trustees that may exist on the board. Without Sunshine Law, 5 trustees can organize themselves in secrecy. Without Sunshine Law, 5 trustees can speak to each other and lobby each other to push forward their personal desires and special interests. Basically, they can make deals with each other in secrecy and vote. I vote to support your special interest, you vote to support mine. 5 trustees can do it without Sunshine Law, protecting the trust and its assets of OHA for the betterment of all beneficiaries on all islands statewide. I am not saying that anyone is doing it on the board, but because Sunshine Law says not more than 2 of you can speak to each other about things that are matters that will come before the board, then that's what Sunshine Law protects us from, you having discussions and organizing and lobbying each other to advance special interest groups, for-profit entities that may want to exploit and take advantage of OHA's assets. And so again, that's why I advocate in protecting that Sunshine Law remains something that OHA must follow. Chair, I'm on the Nanakuli Maili Neighborhood Board, and I'm the chair of its Housing and Zoning Committee and Transportation Committee. Since legislature started, I review all of its hearing notices every evening, and I review the bills to be discussed at upcoming meetings, specifically for the the Housing Committee, which is chaired by Senator Chang, the Hawaiian Affairs Committee, which is chaired by Senator Richards, and the Transportation, Cultural, and Arts Committee, which is chaired by Chair Lee. I look at all the bills that are coming before them, and that's how I was aware of Senate Bill 379, which I spoke about yesterday at the BAE. And I highlighted that to at the end of January, at the meeting at the end of January that I attended, and I notified administration
30 seconds, Jermaine.
and the advocacy department, because basically if you're advocating for all of us to come out and speak about Senate Bill 534, I was basically saying 537, Senate Bill 379 would nullify it. So all the efforts, if it was passed, 534 was passed without amendments, basically OHA still couldn't do its towers because of the fact that if 379 had passed, it would nullify it.
Jermaine. Thank you, Jermaine. Your testimony is done. Your time is up. Okay, do we have anyone else signed up for community concerns online? No one is signed up? Okay, so community concerns and celebrations are complete. And if we go back to the agenda, you were recognized earlier. You gave your 5 minutes. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I was confused. Sure. Yep, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Thanks for correcting me, Trustee Wahe. Thanks for joining us. Just please state your name for the record, and you have 5 minutes.
Real quick. My name is Shar Kahumoku, and I wanted to share a little about our presentation that we did on June 17th and June 18th at the Manaala. So I'm gonna just turn this around. June 17th, June 18th. Why am I sharing this with you? I'm sharing this with you because we served Don Chang, DLNR, Josh Green, and Annie Lopez regarding the Manaala. And we as lineal descendants want to protect it. And our point that this is the return receipt. They were all served. And what they did is they turned around and they handed it over to you guys. So that if you guys committed a crime, they're protected. By not protecting our people, they're passing the buck. And I have to bring that to your attention because I believe every one of you came on board to help our people. I have that in my heart, or you would not be serving. People believed in you. They voted for you. They know where your hearts are. I do believe your hearts are to serve and help. Yesterday, we also had a meeting with OHA regarding the Kukani Loco. And our mission is to teach, to work as one, as lineal descendants to help our people. And I believe you guys are too. So I pray that every decision is for that.
Mahalo.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Is there anyone else here to offer a community concern or a celebration? Anyone else online? Okay, excellent. Well, trustees, it's been a long morning already. Yes, thank you. But we have two really important items as well that I really want to get to today, and that is circling back on discussing our bylaws as well as the permitted interaction group. And my plan is to take the permitted interaction group first so we can do the bylaws discussion. And then we also have executive session scheduled so that we can go into executive session with our board counsel to discuss that. But I feel we need a break. So we're going to take a 30-minute break, we'll eat some lunch, relax. We'll come back at 1:30 to pick up